Alright, today we're going to talk about total value problems. We're going to solve these using systems of equations. So these are similar to the other systems of equations word problems that we've done. There's just a little difference in the ones that we're doing today. So that's what I'm going to explain. So when we talk about total value, in these types of problems, often we're actually talking about money. So you might get a problem that looks like this. Frank has his pockets full of coins. He has a total of 20 coins. He only has dimes and nickels. Did I spell nickels right? I did not. Only has dimes and nickels. The total value of all the coins in his pockets is $1.45. How many of each coin does he have? So here's one equation that we could write from this. We're going to use n to represent the number of nickels. We're going to use d to represent the number of dimes. So our first equation could say n plus d equals 20. The number of nickels plus the number of dimes is 20. He has 20 nickels and dimes. Which sentence did I write this equation from?
The first.
Frank has his pockets full of coins.
No, the second one.
The second one, he has a total of 20 coins. Sort of the second one and the third one together, right? Because I knew that he had 20 total, and they were only nickels and dimes. Now I need to think of a second equation. And for this, we're going to use this idea of total value. Okay? When we write the value of a coin, it's not just going to be n. N doesn't represent how much a nickel is worth. So instead, we're going to write it like this. I could write 5n plus 10d equals something. The 5 stands for how much a nickel is worth. So when I say 5n, that's the value of his nickels. So he wants to guess what 10d is.
Oh, you're done?
The value of his dimes. Value of his time. No. Value of his dimes. if I were writing an equation with quarters, how would I express the value of quarters, the total value of quarters?
25Q.
25Q. So I'm just taking the amount that each one is worth times the number of them. So the value of his nickels plus the value of his dimes has to add up to be what?
145.
145. And notice I'm writing this in cents instead of dollars. It's just a little easier. We don't have to work with the decimals. So 145 is $1.45 in cents. Okay. So now I have two equations. I think I can work right here. So now we're going to work up here. I'm just going to rewrite those equations. N plus D equals 20. 5N plus 10D equals 145. I have to think of a way to solve this. I could multiply the top equation times -5, and that would give me -5n and 5n. So let's do that. I'm going to multiply this whole equation times -5 on both sides, right? I'm going to rewrite it down here. -5n minus 5d equals -100. Now I'm going to add my equations together because I see that the n's will drop out. 10d minus 5d is 5d. 145 minus 100 is 45. Divide both sides by 5. How many dimes does he have? 9. Remember, D is the number of dimes, so he has 9 dimes. Okay. Now I need to solve for the number of nickels. I know that the number of nickels plus the number of dimes is 20. I know he has 9 dimes, so he must have 11 nickels. And then I'm going to write my answer as a sentence. He has 9 dimes and 11 nickels.
-9 is 11, right? Yeah.
Okay, anyone want to take a picture of the board?
Give me a second.
Questions? Yeah, man. Are we set? I'm going to erase. All right. I'm going to have you guys talk me through this next problem. I'm going to write it up. As I'm writing it up, you can start solving it on your page. And this is problem 1 on your homework. Jax feels incredibly rich. He has
3
a total of 23 nickels and dimes. Amazing. Worth $1.35. how many of each coin does
Okay, my calculator for fun.
you can use a calculator to help you solve it? Jax was incredibly rich. He has a total of 23 nickels and dimes worth $1.35. Could probably buy like a candy bar. How many of each coin does he have? What's our first equation going to be? I want to write an equation that says,
I found a way that it worked.
okay, I want to find, that's awesome. I love that you found another way. And I also want to find a way now that will always work for every problem.
Maddie, read this problem.
Oh, no, I just.
Right, I know. Which is great. So I want to write a problem that says the number of nickels and dimes, right,
So,
equals the total number of coins. So what is the number of nickels and dimes? How do I write that? It's always going to be the same in every problem with nickels and dimes. I'm going to use variables. How would I write the number of nickels and the number of dimes? N and D. What do you mean by and?
N.
What do you mean by and? Just like that?
No, like N plus D equals
Plus.
135.
Okay, the number of nickels plus the number of dimes. Does he have 135 nickels and dimes?
Equals 23.
Yeah, 23. He has 23 nickels and dimes total. Now I want to figure out how to use this 135. So something is going to equal 135. And that's going to be the value of nickels and the value of dimes. So how do I write an equation that shows the value of a nickel? What is the value of a nickel?
5 cents.
5 cents. So my equation is probably going to have the number 5 in it. What would my equation be to show the value of the nickels and dimes? Look back at your notes for the last problem. How did I write an equation with the value?
Could.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
5 times 23.
No. Because we don't know that he has 23 nickels. So here's what you said. 5 times 23.
Where'd you get 23 from?
So you're saying that he has 23 nickels. But we know he has 23 total coins, right?
Oh.
That some of them might be dimes. So how would I say 5 times what would tell me the value of... What could we say, since we don't know the actual number of nickels, what could we say instead of the number? N. Right? We can use N. N is the number of nickels. So 5N is the value of nickels. Think about it this way. I'm going to make a chart.
Nate, may I use the restroom?
Sure. If I have 1 nickel, how much is that worth? 1 nickel is worth 10 cents?
No, 5 cents.
5 cents, okay. What if I have 2 nickels? How'd you get 10?
5 times 2.
Yeah, good. 5 times 2. What if I have 3 nickels? How much is that worth?
15.
Yeah, which is 5 times 3. What if I have 10 nickels?
100. 50.
I'm doing 5 times 10, 50. What if I have 20 nickels?
100.
Yeah, 5 times 20, 100. What if I have n nickels?
Then you just do 5 ahead.
5 times n. 5n.
Please get the answer. No, n equals.
Okay, hold on a second. The number of dimes. Let's do the same thing with dimes. If I have 1 dime, how much is that worth?
10 cents.
10. If I have 2 dimes, how much is that worth?
20.
Yeah, which is 2 times 10, right? Make sure this is showing up on there. Yeah. Okay, what if I have 5 dimes?
Worth 50.
10 times 5 is 50. Jake, how much is it worth if I have 10 dimes?
20.
10 dimes is
Oh,
worth
no,
20
50,
cents?
50 cents.
10 dimes is worth 50 cents.
Yeah,
How much is 1 dime worth?
5 cents. 5 times 10 is...
No, 1 dime is worth 10 cents. You're just
Oh,
thinking
you're
of
saying-
nickels.
I'm thinking of...
So 1 dime is 10 cents. How much is 10 dimes?
10, $1.
Yeah, what'd you just do in your head?
Math
10,
times 10.
10 times 10. So that's worth 100 cents, right? What if I had 7 dimes? How much is that worth?
70.
How did you get that?
7 times
Anything times 10 is that number with a 0 in front.
So, how much is D? How much is D dimes worth?
10. 10D.
10D. Maddie and Jake, do you understand this last row here? Right here?
Yeah.
10D means the value of 10 dimes. I mean, the value of D dimes, right? Because each one is worth 10 cents. So, the value of nickels, 5n, plus what?
5n plus
The value of dimes,
10d.
10D.
Oh.
The value of nickels plus the value of dimes has to add up to the value of his coins.
Wait, will you like then subtract one of the things?
So now I have 2 equations. Let me just write those 2 equations here without all the extras. Oops. Help if I wrote them correctly. N plus D equals 23. 5n plus 10d equals 135. How could I solve that? So I'm just saying we could subtract something,
Yeah. Or you
So-
can just eliminate something.
or we could eliminate. Either way is fine. Which way do you guys want to do it?
Wait, what?
How do you want to solve this system of equations?
Substitution. No, not substitution. The
Elimination.
yeah.
Okay, how are we going to do that?
Multiply the top by 5. Like negative 5. Negative 5.
Okay, sounds good. Multiply the top equation times negative 5. So I'm going to rewrite it here. What do I get when I multiply through?
Negative 5n minus 5b equals
5 times 23, I think is 115. Now I can add this equation and this equation together. 5n minus 5n, yes! They dropped out. That's the whole point of that, right? 10d minus 5d is 5d equals 135 minus 115 is 20. You could use a calculator if you wanted to. Divide both sides by 5. there are 4 dimes.
And there's 19 other things.
Yeah, because we know that the total number is 23, so the number of nickels plus 4 has to be 23, so the number of nickels is 19. Don't forget to write your answer as a sentence. He has 19 nickels and 4 dimes. We could check that very easily. 19 nickels. That would be 19 times 5. That's 95 cents. I just did that in my head by thinking 20 times 5 is $1. He has one less than that. So it's $1 and so it's 95 cents. Then he has 4 dimes, that's worth 40 cents. 95 cents plus 40 cents is $1.35. So that actually does work.
Is it possible to like get different answers for questions like this?
No. This sort of a question will only have one answer.
Oh.
And it's because these are technically systems of equations. That's a really great question, right? So technically what we have is we've created this graph where we made a line that says all the possible combinations of nickels and dimes that add up to 23. All the possible combinations are on this line. And then we made another line that said everything that could possibly add up to $1.35. Right? So let's say this line goes like this. There's only ever going to be one spot where those two lines cross. So we're only going to be able to get one solution. Now, it would be possible to have a problem where every single solution was possible. But that's not really going to happen very often with total value. Because I could have two lines that were actually both the same. And it also would be possible to have two lines that never crossed. So we could have 0 solutions.
These are cool, I like these.
They're kind of fun, huh?
They're different than the ones we've been doing, but they're cool.
Yeah.
Are they all gonna have to do with money?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of money.